No, Ishikawa, no. No, we're going backwards. Stop. Stop the train. Episode 17 of Danger My Heart was super, super frustrating to watch. I understand why it's happening, but at the same time, it doesn't make it not hurt. We're literally going back into old Ishikawa. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. For those who don't know, season 1 for me was amazing. The later parts of that season did so well in portraying a person that hates themselves so much that they can't love another person. I pretty much labeled that later part as literally you can't love somebody else if you hate yourself. And I feel like at some point he realized it was okay. I'm going to give up this and I'm going to accept that I'm good enough for Yamada. Not really necessarily 100%, but he was literally opening up the door. Okay, I can be with her. This is fine. And yes, as we're getting into the season, it feels like more and more Ishikawa is opening up to the idea that I want this. I'm going to go for it. But it's one of those things where sadly, deep down, they kept bringing up this idea that there's something wrong with him whenever Yamada is talking about her work. Whenever he knows about her work, there's something unsettling about it. And yes, there was a brief moment where I was thinking it might be a thing. It was during that time where Yamada was trying to get him to see her magazine. Look, this is great. Aren't these other two really cute? Oh, look, who's that person in there? Yamada was literally trying to show it to Ichikawa. At that moment, he was thinking about this, and there was a side of me that was almost thinking, okay, maybe it's going to be a thing where, obviously for somebody that has somebody they're interested in is a part of an industry where they're literally showing themselves to the world. Yeah, he's in a classroom full of people like Adachi who are literally with that magazine with her in it, lusting over it. And so obviously Ichikawa is going to feel a little uncomfortable. It makes sense. It's going to be for anybody that has somebody in some sort of industry like that. This wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. That's not what makes him feel uncomfortable. In this episode, episode 17, we're getting that aired out. Ichikawa is uncomfortable because seeing her do her job makes him feel more and more like what he thinks he is, a child. He's literally, he's downgrading himself. He's putting himself down because she's an adult. She's in an adult environment. She's surrounded by adults. They're all doing adulting stuff. They're grown-ups. They look so beautiful. They're all professionals. They're working hard. I'm a child. And it kind of puts that little sting in there, that salt in that wound, because he literally goes by the store and grabs something that he knows that Yamada's going to love. And we all know she's going to love it. He buys something for her. It's cute. And it's a snack. Everything about what he bought, Yamada's going to love. But he's afraid of it because he grabs that, puts it in a bag, and goes there. And suddenly he sees, again, like I said earlier, adulting. He sees a bunch of adults. And he sees Yamada as a grown-up. I'm a child. He finally realizes that's why I'm always uncomfortable when I see her doing this stuff and talking about this stuff, is because it reminds me I'm a child. I'm a kid. I'm not grown up like she is. She's working hard. She's pushing. She's doing a good job. And it sucks because in this episode as well, Yamada basically reveals that the reason why I love doing it is because of you. You said that and it made me feel happy. I like this. And I want to show it to you. I want to show you what you helped me stay with. It is kind of surprising that the brief glimpse that they show, it was a scene again where she was trying to show him the magazine, and he said, you're doing it because you like it, right? You're doing something that you enjoy. That was a scene that kind of kept her going. I was kind of wondering if it was going to be further back, that she somehow inspired her to keep going, because she's obviously been doing it for a while. She's been doing it for 4 years. But I guess it kind of insinuates that, yes, she's been doing it for, say, 3.5 years. She meets Ichikawa. Ichikawa, essentially, and she was looking to stop at that point. It indicates that before she was going to get to this point where she's at now, she was going to stop. But he said that, and it kept her going. And now she wants to share it with him. Despite all that, this boy has no self-confidence. I kind of like the manager in this episode, because they were like, you have an inferiority complex. Like, it's obvious you have a massive inferiority complex. You're standing here and I can see it. He's literally, because yes, ever since Yamada met Ichikawa, she has been talking about Ichikawa to them, been talking to the manager. And so he's like, oh, you're that one. You're the one that she keeps talking about. That special somebody for her that she cannot stop talking about. And yet you're standing here and you're going to tell me that you don't have a relationship. No, it looks like a relationship. It hurts. Hopefully the manager doesn't tell Yamada what Ichikawa said. It hurts. And again, it hurts more because it's in lieu of everything that's been established. I mean, oh my gosh, this entire season has literally been, good boy, Ichikawa, yes, thank you. You're seeing the signs. She's putting those signs out there. She's trying real hard to show you. Yes, she's not plain out saying it. That's a frustrating part, but she's giving you every sign possible, but you keep falling back into this, I'm not good enough. And it hurts. But my gosh, I just jumped right into this. Let's go through the episode, and I'll run into things as I go along. But like I said, it's been frustrating. Opening up the episode with him walking, him talking about how he's wanting to work out more and get the arm going again. Bicycling is not an option. It is interesting because in this episode, it opens up literally trying to really focus in on Yamada's work. Because even in the opening sequence, he's literally talking about, we can't do the bicycle no more. She's a celebrity. If they find out and she gets in trouble, it would be bad. And they kind of hit on that again later in the idea that the manager's going, she's at a peak point. Like, she's about to make it big. And relationships, a lot of people see it negatively. And so you got to be careful kind of thing. But I love that. She opens up her bag. She's trying to find the ticket so that she can sneak it to him. I'm sorry. This gave me a little bit of nostalgia. My bag used to always be like that. Like, you literally open it up and it's just, there's papers everywhere and you have to kind of sift through it. Yamada's so like me. She's just like me. But no, that was cute because it's kind of something they kind of glossed over with the anime that was in the manga when I checked it out after watching the episode. Is that, yes, she like has him wear her outfit, trying to, see him in her cool style and everything like that. And he's literally like, oh, it's more for adults. Oh, then I'll leave it up to you. It was kind of one of those brief moments early on right here that it's starting to hit on the fact that Ichikawa right now is in a mindset that you're an adult. I'm not an adult. It looks good on you. It makes you look like an adult. Well, then I'll leave that to you. It's literally what he's saying. And again, it's like right there that they're already hinting at what they're going to get into in a minute. But yes, it was all a ruse to get her to find the other ticket and go, oh yeah, there's another ticket. And then he pushes to ask. Again, it goes to show that this isn't a one-sided thing. Yamada is trying to. She's pushing herself to try to ask Ichikawa things, and she's failing. So right here, it's that rare moment where Ichikawa is the one that goes, no, I'll ask her. I want to ask her. Let's go together. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. I wanted to ask you, but I left it up to you. I'm sorry that I made you have to, push yourself. But it was cute because, like, he's literally right here. He's in his own mind. He's fist pumping like, yes, I did it. I went after the thing that I want to go after, despite the fact that he falls apart here in a minute. But no, then they go off to the movies and she got him unbutton the top of his shirt so he looks a little more stylish. And sure enough, like later on, they run into the sister. The sister's super mad because they're having an after school date. She's like, in the manga, she says something to the effect of, here's your food. Eat it, but women be careful not to get eaten up or something like that. Like trying to give a warning to Yamada. In the anime, they kind of do this whole thing where she's literally like the midlife crisis girl. Like, Kana, you're not that old. They're literally turning Kana into that teacher that's like 25 years old that is constantly mad about love because she'll never find anybody and she's getting old. It's like, Kana, we're pushing that way too much. She just became an adult. She's not old. I like that they put this in the anime because Yamada kind of just retorts saying, oh, I think it's just fine to wear, school outfits, even if you are an adult, to a date. And Ichikawa's like, stop punching at her. It was so funny because this whole scene in the diner is great because it's kind of like Ichikawa at one moment, he's watching his sister and he's like, wow, it kind of feels weird watching somebody that doing her job. And she's doing a great job. She's working hard. And at the same time, again, this is once again another thing that's compounding on him right now of Yamada's like, oh, cool, can you come to my work? Come watch me work. So it's like literally two people that he knows that are both working hard. They're both being adults. Again, emphasizing the idea that he is a child. But even still, though, like the second one that comes out and he cuts it in half and she goes, to go feed it to him. And it literally has his sister right there facing away from them. It's like they're doing something super naughty behind his sister. It looked like a scene out of an NTR. No doubt. I didn't think about that when I was watching it, but I thought about it afterwards. I'm like, that's literally an NTR scene. But no, then they go to the actual theaters, and this is the point where he's once again in his own head, just constantly thinking about, is this a date? I mean, I'm technically going somewhere with a girl. That's what they call a date. He still doesn't quite get it in his head right there. Even in the manga right here, he's thinking about what his sister was talking about, that they were out on a date together. Obviously, his sister knows you were on a date. He doesn't quite want to solidify that. But it was really cute when they get into the theater itself and they sit down and Yamada, I almost didn't catch it in the anime until like a little bit later, but it's a lot more emphasized in the manga, this idea that she looks over to Ichikawa, and she literally can't see his face. He's got this big old thing over this side of the face. So she's like, oh, let me change seats. And he's like, why? It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's because she wants to see your face. But yeah, it was cute. Getting him to kind of this thinking about, this is really him recalling essentially that point in which he became sort of very interested in her. It all ties together in the idea of Ichikawa falling in love with Yamada, and it seems like the introductory really is through her career. And that kind of plays into it later on when he starts thinking about the idea that she's going to lose her job and then she's going to become a normal school kid. And that's literally against what he originally fell in love with. He fell in love with her as the actor, the person that was trying so hard, that was so talented. That was what he fell in love with initially. And now he's grown to know her more and getting to know her more. But it's showing that like initial moment when he got that movie. It was a really crappy movie. I like how they show the scenes of it. The chicks their acting was horrible. But then that one scene, this minor actor, which was Yamada, she was great. It words a little bit weird in the translation in the anime. I'm not sure if it's a translation issue or whatever, or maybe a change from the manga. The manga is a lot more specific in the idea that compared to everybody else that was in that movie, they were all amateurs. Yamada was the one that was skillful. She nailed those lines perfectly. She stood out from the rest. But yeah, she thinks that he's sleeping. Wakes him up right at the kissing scene. We all know why Yamada will come up right then. Is because she wanted him to see the kissing scene, that extremely long kissing scene. But it was cute because this is the point in which he's starting to get frustrated with himself, like trying to figure out why she sounds like she's so happy. She's talking about her job. She came here to learn. This is obviously to get him out of date too. She was learning something about this whole thing, and that's her excitement about her job. And she's rambling on, and she apologizes. And he's like, don't apologize. I want to learn more about you. He wants to know this. And genuinely inside of him, he seems like he does like this idea of learning more about her. But, again, to the whole story of this entire episode, there's something about it that's making him feel uneasy. He can't quite place it. Until pretty much a little bit later in this idea that, yes, I'm fearful because I'm hearing her talk about her job, and I don't have that. I'm just a schoolboy. So compared to her, I'm nothing. Again, it's going right back to that whole thing where he feels like he's inadequate. But yeah, that little line that she dropped right at the end there. Yeah, I learned a lot from that movie. Outside from work, too. It's like, yeah, she learned something else about love, and just dropping that little hints on you, and you're not getting it, Ichikawa. But yeah, that's when it all comes up to where I was talking about earlier. He comes out to there to see her working. I like how he drops by to see his sister first. Does this look good? And she's like half asleep. Yeah, it looks good. And he goes off, gets the snack, goes there, realizes how everybody's working hard, and they're all like stylish and everything like that. And again, gets that nervousness. No, I'm just a child here. I'm just playing. And so that's what gets him to kind of drive away. I like getting that little inner conflict that's happened with him when his inner self is like, what are you doing here? I thought you want to learn more about her. Do you think that my feelings, your feelings, my feelings, which this is the side of him that wants to go after Yamada. He's saying, look, why are you seeing it as what we're doing as playing? Again, it goes in that little inferiority complex that he has. But no, this is where she kind of reveals the idea that why she essentially enjoys her job so much. She has gone through all, just like she told him, I did all these things, I tried out things, I constantly am getting people doing a lot better than I am. I keep quitting it. And it's the same here. Her job here as a model and an actor or actress is literally being outshined by so many other people that are talented and more beautiful and more cute than her, but she kept to it. She didn't give up like she typically does. Why? Because what he said that day, you're doing something that you enjoy, and that's what it made her happy. It made her happy that he acknowledged that, and that's why she's been keeping at it. But yeah, this is where he internally kind of pushes through it, says, look, this is something that she enjoys. It hurts, but at the same time, if she gets fired or whatever, she'll become just a normal junior high schooler, and that's not something that he wanted. That's not something that he fell for. And I do I'm fearful of this moment right here. Despite my frustrations with Ichikawa and his confidence, which I understand, but it still hurts, is right here it almost feels like he's going in a direction that I'm going to be very fearful of. And the idea that right here, when he grabs Yamada's hand and goes to run, in his mind, he's literally saying, I don't want her to quit her job. I don't want her to just be another junior high schooler, because the initial thing that I fell in love with, the initial thing that I gravitated to her for, was because she was talented at this. She was incredible. She is this great thing. It's from episode 1 of the first season. It's literally him seeing her as this model and somebody that he was detesting and that he wanted to see covered in blood, whatever. The reason why he was gravitated towards her initially, even if he was in this kind of chuny state of wanting murder mysteries and stuff like that, the reason why he gravitated to her was because of what she was. She was this talented model at the time, this no-name actress. That's what gravitated him to her. He doesn't want to see her lose that. This is what made her special. And it is kind of a sad thing because it's like, well, the reason why I was so drawn to her is because she was a model. But no, it's literally, it's not lying to the idea to himself. That's what was great about her. Yes, all this other stuff came after it, but doesn't take away from what that initially was drawing him to her. It's okay to admit that. But yeah, that's when they go back to the place. The manager walks up. I thought it was like some pretty boy model, but no, it was actually the manager. It kind of insinuates it, but the manga is kind of a little more solidified the idea that no, the manager was trying to grab Ichikawa. And yes, it technically is implied in the anime too, and the idea that Yamada literally goes, no. Literally, the manager wanted Ichikawa. You got some nice eyes. Very, very interesting eyes. Ichikawa's like, you got some creepy eyes. Oh, that was great. He's literally trying to pick up Ichikawa. But no, I love this because, yes, he gets pulled into the group, goes in there. We have this little brief moment where one of them actually writes for the magazine itself. And so she's like asking Ichikawa a bunch of questions like, what are kids into these days? And he talks about different video games. Like, I think they translate it as Fake Go and Minecraft, whatever. But additionally, she's like asking about if he had anybody that he likes because she's trying to get some information about love life of kids. Like anything that this writer for this magazine can get about junior high school or what they're into, they want to know. Goes in the full work mode to kind of drill information out of Ichikawa. But yes, eventually Yamada goes off to do her shoot and Ichikawa's standing there and the manager walks up, slams some truth bombs on Ichikawa. I really like this because it's like, it is a hard thing to kind of see that somebody would say something like that. But at the same time, there are moments where you kind of feel that some people need to hear it. And I think this manager obviously can call people. This producer is good at reading people. And yes, that's where it kind of goes, wait, I was wrong. I'm usually good at this stuff. This person's good at reading people. And yes, what they see in Ichikawa when they walk up, you're trying to run away, aren't you? You're wondering, can I go home yet? You have an inferiority complex. It immediately calls out what we've been seeing in Ichikawa this whole time. He just doesn't feel he's good enough. He's a child. He's never gonna be good enough for Yamada. She's playing around with me. She'd never like me. All those things is what makes Ichikawa, unfortunately. But additionally, yes, bring up the idea that Yamada talks about you all the time. I've been with her for 4 years. She is an open book. And yes, she talks about you all the time. You're special to her. She's an honest girl. You're her pride and joy. And it's like when that statement comes up, it's literally what probably the mother wanted to tell Ichikawa before Yamada ran out there. The producer basically said everything that Yamada's saying. She finds something special about you. But it's sad because while the producer reads that as Yamada is in love with you and wants to give him that warning that, yeah, she's at that point right now. She's at a special point. And as an actress, as a celebrity, people don't look upon those relationships kindly. It's going to be something really bad. Ichikawa immediately says, no, it's not. It's nothing. You're reading it wrong. We're not in a relationship. I just admire her. It's like, I don't expect Ichikawa to tell this guy that, look, yeah, we're totally a thing. I don't expect him to say, yeah, I do like her. But again, this is where I'm fearing with Ichikawa's mindset. Back here, when he was dragging Yamada back to the shoot, he was literally saying that I don't want her to go back to being a normal person. This is her job. I want her to have this. This is what makes her special to me. And I'm afraid that it's going with that statement in his head. And what he tells the producer here is literally me fearing that Ichikawa is going to turn to admiration. I don't love her. I admire her. And yes, those two things can come together. And it might end up being that's the case, that it goes eventually going, yeah, I admire her, but I also love her. And it will come together eventually. But right now, I'm fearful that he's pushing back away from love. I'm not good enough for this. I'm just a child. She's an idol. And I hate that. I hate that so much. It still can work. Like I said, admiring her, respecting her, ever since that moment, all that stuff is still fine. That he respects her. But he's also at the same time denying that he wants a relationship with her right here. And again, it could be him trying to cover it up for the manager. but it seemed like it was honestly in his head as well. The same time it was in his head that he was saying the same thing. And that sucks. But it all wraps up with a really cute scene with him going home with Yamada. Her literally asking, how was it? And he's like, oh yeah, everybody was professional. Everybody was working hard. No, not about that. She's going to ask him how was I looking, whatever. But no, he interrupts it by showing the picture that he took of her. And she's like, oh, you should have got me with a good face. He's like, nope, you were cute. You're very cute. Very pretty. And that flusters her. It hurts. It hurts. This entire episode hurts. And I was talking about this in the last episode impressions. Is like, I feel like things are moving so good that I feel like it's going to start spinning its wheels. Or it could have gone to the route where they get in a relationship and we move on. But no, it feels like this is a massive step back. We literally had like several episodes of step forward, step forward, step forward. And this is that first moment where it feels like he's taken a massive step back. And again, I understand it, which is why the writing's good. When something like this can happen and I feel like I don't feel angry at the writer, and I just feel like I'm hurting for Ichikawa, and I'm massively hurting for Yamada, it's good. It's still good, but it still hurts. But anyhow, that's my long thoughts on episode 17 of Danger My Heart. This is a long recording. I hope you guys enjoyed me blabbing on about this show and my frustrations, my about this whole series. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button down below, comment, let me know what's the episode. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you get my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, I cover this show pretty much every week. Additionally, if you like this content and you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate what it does. Take care.